Yay. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
So I said to this bloke, I said, me and some friends have just been talking about you. He said, you disgust me. I said, yes, mate.
It reminds me a bit of Bert from Trapdoor, that.
Wow.
Well, so I think I'm hugely loud, but that's okay.
So how long did that take you?
Well, I mean, I put my heart and soul into it, so it's probably, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I started with the Discuss Podcast thing, and I was just kind of like playing around with riffs, and I thought, yeah, I'll just rip off Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, so it's kind of Purple Haze-ish. But yeah, I put my heart and soul in that. Is yours coming through?
Hello. One of them isn't working, is it?
There we go, it is now.
Oh, okay.
It's just because you're not
trying
eating
to
it.
get closer.
Well, you don't have to. I could always...
I could be like this for the next hour.
Yeah. See, mine's still much louder.
Hello. Oh, no, I'll just shout the whole time.
There you are. So I'm going to turn me down and you up slightly. So this is hugely professional, like planned and everything. I think it's the most like pro one
Let me move this.
I think I've done.
It is, and unfortunately, it's me you've got to listen to for the next 90
You say
minutes.
unfortunately.
Hello.
But, you know,
There we go.
I mean, you're an incredibly interesting fella, Aidan.
Well, thank you.
You have lots of things now to talk about. So the first thing I want to ask you about is Waze,
Oh, yeah.
the app. Yeah.
I've been, all my friends have been like inundated with little ETAs, little messages telling me exactly where I am,
Yeah.
exactly when I'm going to be there.
I was. Where does it end though? Like if you're having a poo, you know,
Hey?
like you need a poos app or something.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right.
If you're at home, you know, like
Going smoothly.
maybe like Kelly is sort of like downstairs, you know, it's ETA, you know, like 5 minutes.
It's just that she could just hear the noise through the
Get
floor.
the kettle on. No, but it was so cool. I got this message. I was thinking, what's this all about?
Yeah.
Waze, and it said, yeah, you're going to be here at 8:02.
And I was, wasn't I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was.
So it's incredibly accurate.
Well, I wasn't here because I got lost.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, and I was kind of stood in the road doing this, and like you
Yeah.
couldn't see me.
No.
But you know, and we worked it out. You're obviously here.
Yes.
Yeah, so I need to get
It's a
that.
pleasure.
But everyone, I think, is going to be.
Am I still recording? I'm looking a bit like, hello.
It is, yeah.
Is that a bit flat?
Probably what I'll do is I'll just compress it afterwards. So
Okay.
we should probably hide that, yeah, because we're going to be sort of more interested in that, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, weirdly, I think you've got like a much better mic, so I'm not really sure what's happening. Yeah.
Shh.
Talk again?
No. Hello. See, if I'm right here. Oh, see, that's too much. If I'm here.
So how about this? Try that.
Hello. Oh, that's, yeah.
There
I'm
we
seeing
go.
something now.
There we go.
There we go. You happy?
Yes,
Mr. Producer.
I'm happy.
Good.
I'm ecstatic. Yeah. So tell us about your bassing.
What, from the beginning?
Yeah, please, please. How old were you when you first started bassing?
Well,
Or was it like trombone,
Okay.
like you started on or something? Wasn't
no,
it?
well, it's piano.
Piano. Okay.
I was on piano. I started piano about the age of 8. Started trombone in year 4.
Yeah.
What age is year 4? 10?
Yeah, I think year 4's about
Go on,
9. I
we're
think
both
maybe
teachers,
something
we
like
should
yeah,
know
I was going to
this.
say yeah. I think it's like 9. Yeah.
About year 4. Yeah, year 4. and then I did both.
I don't know, kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
little. I did both at the same time. It's not like I've moved from piano. You know, I did both at the same time. At the end of college,
Given up.
pretty much my last term of college, I got my grade 8 on trombone, and then I just kind of ticked it off. I was like, yeah. And then
Done.
I've rarely played it since, to be honest. I still have it.
Yeah.
I've been talking about selling it for about 10 years. It's been up in the attic. It's probably a pile of rust.
Yeah, see, that's cool that you did the grades when you were younger.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually like doing them now. I never like did any grades.
What? I know you did your theory grades, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I'm doing. I did bass at level 3,
Yeah.
and I did drums at grade 6. It was purely because those were the books I had.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, yeah, well, you know, and obviously I've been sending students off for them for ages. I mean, I've had a couple of students that have done the drums at grade 8,
Yeah.
but was thinking, okay, well, I've got the book. And actually, what was really funny, is because I'm obviously like a much better drummer than the bassist, I thought I'll just wing the drums, and I kind of learn it all in the last week. And on the bass, like I had spent about like 6 weeks. You know, sort of, I really learnt the stuff. I really practiced it, and I got a distinction on the bass. And for all the pieces, I got 20 out of 20.
Wow!
And on the drums, I only got a merit.
No.
Yeah, exactly. And it was because one of the songs that I chose was this really fast, like drum and bass tune.
Yeah. Is this Rock School or Trinity?
Yeah, it was Rock School.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a lesson for anybody watching. You know, is don't get complacent. Yeah, because honestly, I thought, it's fine. I'll just wing it.
Knew you walked in and you were like, I own this. They could tell from where you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought, right, no, 20 marks off straight away.
Yeah. Bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what I was trying to do, okay, which is what I always do, is like the examiner. Yeah, was it was a lady who was like similar age kind of to me, so it was just basically sort of flirting outrageously, you know.
She was flirting.
Well, I was, and I hope she was back, you know, like not just kind of is cowering in the corner. Maybe sort of my perception is like totally different. Yeah, so that worked for the bass, yeah. But then when I did the drums afterwards, you know, so I don't know, you know, maybe I said something wrong. Yeah, you know, maybe I should have kept my belt done up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not wear those shorts.
No, yeah. I did something wrong anyway.
But you got your certificate.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes, I got a merit for it. But like, you know, it just feels weird, obviously, kind of like sending students and having a student doing it at grade 8.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, he scored 96%.
Wow.
Like, really good drummer.
Yeah.
He was called Charlie. I kind of knew that he was going to be good. Yeah. When I first saw him play, he was only about, I think he was like 12. And he came back to one of the schools I was working at, and I said, okay, so what have you been working on? And he had a grade 2 book, okay. And I said to him, just play me some stuff. And then he was kind of doing all this kind of linear stuff, you know. So I was like, okay, we'll throw that book away.
Linear stuff's like good, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's stuff that's like between hands and feet, so...
Oh, okay. Kind
of stuff like that. Yeah, so, you know, he was kind of doing all this warm-up and these fast, like, doubles with his... with his right foot, yeah. So I was like, yeah, we'll throw away the grade 2 book. He's awesome. And then we had a look at grade 4, I think, and then he just kind of learnt the songs like that. So I said, yeah, we'll try... I think it was grade 6, which is why I had the 6 book.
Yeah.
And we did one song, and then he just did that. And he said, well, actually, we'll just go for grade 8.
So you took him from grade 2 to grade 8 in like
well, I say I took him, like, yeah. He took himself, to be honest, and I was just kind of was there for the ride.
Spectator.
Yeah. And the weird thing about it is, though, is have you ever heard a podcast that's called Freakonomics?
No.
Because they had one once, and they were interviewing a guy called Anders Ericsson. Like, it was really interesting. It was about the 10,000 hours concept.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so... he was saying about how it's all just down now to hard work, and, you know, like hard work like trumps natural ability, which I do kind of like fully agree with. But he was the first person that I've seen that had that hard work and natural ability.
Yeah.
And I think up until that point, like I'd had students, you know, that would work hard but would have to work, you know, like quite harder to get like through like a sticking point, or there'd be like people that were sort of like really natural, but then didn't kind of practice scales and those sorts of things, you know, or on the drums rudiments. So he was sort of nailing both, really. Yeah. So it was amazing to see, you know, just that you sort of had the meeting, you know, of like hard work and natural ability. Because I don't even know, like, if I've got natural ability, you know, from watching him, I was a bit like, yeah, all right.
Well, you only got a merit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, curse you, genes, you bastard. Because that's the weird thing, I suppose, with things like genes, is we don't choose that, do we?
No.
We're just born with it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, what do you do? Like, if you've got, you know that saying, the Einstein one, like, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its life feeling like a failure. Well, I started thinking, well, what if the fish wants to climb the tree?
Yeah.
You know, like, and it can't, because, you know, it's not been like born that way. It's like, you know, curse you. Okay, do you have to wait, like, for the next life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure Einstein would agree with that.
Amazing. Awesome, succinct answer. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Stop complaining. Just wait for the next one. Yeah. So, it was cool. Like, you did the grades first. Were you like driven to do it, or was it just something that you just were made
I think,
to, or what?
particularly with classical instruments, grading is kind of inbuilt into the education.
Yeah.
Like with my with my playing the bass and playing the guitar, I've never really considered it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And my students, I only put them in for their grades if they want to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was teaching piano, if I was teaching, flute or violin or trumpet or something, it would be like, okay, we'll work to your grade 1 and then we'll work to your grade 2 and we'll work to your grade 3. And all their education comes from the grade books. Well, they're very well written, so they probably get everything they need out of the grade books.
Yeah.
But I think it's more inherent.
Yeah. Do you find sometimes, like with the grades, that actually you sometimes use them because you're not kind of sure of other stuff to do? Like if you have a student that wants to play but kind of doesn't really know what they want to do, I think they kind of like fill a bit of a market there as well sometimes. Yeah, like the rock school ones have been really good for that. My favourite piece, like in the whole rock school syllabus, is Maiden Voyage.
I know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good, isn't it?
Grade 4?
I think it's grade 3. But,
Is it grade 3?
But it's got, on the guitar part, it's got some like complicated little like bits in it, I think. Yeah. It's so on bass, obviously I got a distinction for that.
Yeah, there you go. You owned it.
I owned it.
I was a bit disappointed it wasn't Herbie Hancock, to be honest.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the classical grades also have a, like the back end of the book, which is your scales and your theory stuff and your oral stuff. It's a bit more full on, I remember, for the classical stuff.
Yeah.
So it's more acceptable to use the classical grade books as a kind of as the education rather than. Yeah. I mean, of course, when you teach guitar, bass, drums, you've got all these like Muse and Red Hot Chili Peppers and Radiohead and all this kind of other stuff.
Yeah.
And the kids are into that often before they even bring the instrument to you. Whereas someone starting off on piano, maybe wouldn't know Mozart so well or know Beethoven so well. So the education needs to come like 100% from the teacher or from the books, as opposed to bringing anything else with them. So I think it's a big difference. Yeah,
because the first student that I had that did grade 1 on the piano, I was almost amazed at actually how much they had to do. And she was like 6 or something, and I was thinking, Christ, I'm not sure if I could have taken all this in when I was 6. The oral and the scales and everything. There's so much to fit in, isn't there? I think.
Yeah, there is. There is.
Yeah, so for a 6-year-old, it's quite full on.
Yeah.
I think, but I mean, what I think is really good these days is when I was learning, there wasn't so much of the certainly in my world. Have you heard of Luke Holland, the drummer Luke Holland?
Oh, okay, yeah, rings a bell.
Yeah, so I mean, he's an insane, monster when he plays, and he's got all of these chops, and he overplays everything, but I mean, just in such his own style. And when I was learning and I was practicing things, like paradiddles and stuff, I never realised what the point of it was. It's kind of why am I practicing paradiddles? Because when I was listening to Pantera and stuff, they wouldn't really use them. And I think in a way, it's quite a good time, certainly for me, I was teaching because there's more interest in some of the slightly more show-off stuff. Certainly with my students, I think. When I was learning, it was almost just want to learn Iron Maiden or Pantera or something. And it was mainly single strokes. Yeah, so for drums especially, I think it's really good, of all these kind of YouTube drummers.
Yeah.
And Cobus as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the drums have always been something that's just in the background, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think with YouTube, there's more of an interest in it.
We never had, imagine when we were learning instruments if we had YouTube.
I know, yeah, exactly.
It's a different world now, isn't it?
Because I remember, and I said this to Donald Tardy from the band Obituary, right? He's
of all the people.
I know, yeah, exactly. He's a drummer from Obituary, they played, I think it was Engine Rooms, a couple of months ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
It was so good, okay? And I spoke to the drummer, and this was honestly, it was a true story. When I used to learn some of this death metal stuff and it was so fast, what I used to do is I had a tape player, and I found a way that I can't remember what I did. I sort of wedged something either on the play or the pause button, and I got it to play it slow.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So to learn stuff,
the stretching and morphing.
Yeah. So I had to kind of go to those lengths. For these days, what I do with students, those slow down apps and stuff, and they're just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Yes, we didn't have any of that, did we?
It's like you hear stories about Eric Clapton putting the record player on a slower speed and dropping, and then having to transpose up. And
because that's the only thing. But obviously with the drums, I don't have to worry about that. Really.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, with tuned instruments. So that's another great thing. I mean, if I'm learning a cover song, is you can change the pitch of it.
Yeah.
So
Sweet Child of Mine is in a playable key.
Yeah. Or a singable.
Yeah,
key.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, there's some songs, when you hear the originals, like I want to do 18 and Life, and I started playing along with it, and I was just thinking, there's no way in the world I can do this in the original key.
Yeah,
like it's just so high, I think. So yeah, what I'm saying is good. It's good for people like me, that don't have like natural ability, and we can cheat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
What, you don't have natural ability, or you can cheat?
Either or.
Well, you definitely have natural ability. You know what? We can go.
It doesn't have to say that.
We can go on a stage and play for the first time, like no rehearsal.
Yes.
Someone like the Brook.
Yeah.
And then have someone reviewing it.
We could easily do that.
And what was the line?
Something like the rhythm section have been playing together for years, or it was something like that.
And I'd met you for the first time 20 minutes earlier.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yes, that was no rehearsal or anything.
No.
Yes, that was crazy.
He said, yeah, I've got a drummer. His name's Mike Vaughan. I was like, I haven't met Mike Vaughan.
Yeah.
And then obviously we were like, well, not that, but
well, like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ships that hadn't passed in the night yet.
No.
Yeah. So it was a good gig actually. What happened to him? Like, is he still playing? James, is it?
Yeah.
James.
The guitarist we were with, I saw in Jules Holland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember like at one point I looked over and I don't know if he was kind of having a go at me or something, but it was in one of the tunes, and either he was just sort of so into it, like he kind of looked like he was angry, or he was angry with me.
Show me the face.
He was sort of doing this with his foot. So he was playing and he was kind of going like...
Well, imagining that's your head underneath.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know if this kind of... so for the benefit of the people that are just
really
listening, it's it's quite a grimace that I'm pulling, and so I don't know if he was annoyed at me or what. I remember in that moment thinking, I think I'm playing it right.
Yeah, I think we did it right.
Yeah, exactly. Player. It was a good gig actually. I really enjoyed that one. Did you hear about Bryn from the Brook?
Yeah, sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it was hugely sad. I only heard about it. I think 'cause somebody shared it on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was a great venue. Was he the owner, or because
I wouldn't.
I didn't even know who he was, because literally, every time I played there, he was there.
Yeah,
had some amazing conversations with him, but sort of I didn't really know who he was.
I guess he was the owner.
Yeah,
I guess
he was the daddy.
And Dylan's stepping up. That's what I saw, wasn't it? Dylan is now.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Dylan. Yeah, he's cool, Dylan. Have you met?
Yeah,
Dylan?
because it was Mark that was I think Mark booked most of the gigs that I had played there. Mark Smith.
Oh, the Sounds of the Sea.
Yeah. Sounds of the Sea. Yeah. And actually, I think the last gig I went to, I ended up making tea for Passenger.
Wow, there you go.
I know.
There
yeah.
You go.
It's a classic name drop.
Was
I
that
suppose.
Before he was famous or after he was famous?
I think it was kind of in the middle.
Oh.
But it was really weird. I was kind of making everybody a cup of tea, and he was there, and I was thinking to myself, I sort of don't want to be, all fanboy, even though about 3 months earlier, I had seen him play at the Brook, and I got him out to sign my glasses because that was all I had.
I was there.
Yeah,
I remember that because we were supporting. DeLuca Kensky
yes.
was supporting.
Yeah, it was such a good gig,
yeah.
And Jack played as well, didn't he? Was that the one, Jack Williams?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a great gig, and because again, with Jack Williams, I mean, I was a fan sort of before anything, and then I ended up kind of playing with him in Josh's band, and that was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had I had seen him a few months earlier, and got him out to sign my glasses.
Yeah.
So it sort of felt weird, that kind of our interactions were would you like some tea? How many sugars do you want in your tea? And he did kind of remember me, and we had a nice chat, but I sort of didn't kind of want to be all my God, it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really friendly.
Yeah.
I saw him just after he was on tour with Ed Sheeran. And I still don't really know what he means by this. So I was like, all right, and how was the tour? How's it?
And he went, fuck you.
And he said, it wasn't shit. Like,
yeah.
well, it was really
like,
good.
Would you care to elaborate on that, sir?
It was less than shit, or like.
Yeah, it's quite a good answer though, in a way, because it sort of leaves you to make up your own answer, like a cliffhanger in a film.
Yeah.
We're always saying we don't want things obvious anymore, so I'm going to just start answering everyone really ambiguous answers.
Yeah.
Perhaps. And I was saying to him as well that I had taught. What's the really famous one? Like Let Her Go, is it? Was that Frozen? Something like that.
Let Her Go.
Or yeah. It's Here's just Let Her Go, and the Frozen one is Let It Go.
I think that's right, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I had taught that to a student, and I'd also taught one of Stu Larson's songs because it was a Stu Larson gig.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just there really
he's
sort
great,
of chatting to him, and then he was hanging in the kitchen, but he seemed kind of like really, really like humble about the fact that his songs were getting kind of taught to like kids. And I said that Stu's, have you heard the song San Francisco? Like I'd taught that one to a student as well, and he was he was almost like he was like, oh man, that's so cool. Yeah, so that was nice. That he wasn't like, of course you fucking did, you prick. Or like that's not shit.
Yeah.
That's not shit teaching.
The band Everything.
Yeah.
I had a similar thing because I was there's a cool bass line in My Key's Your Boyfriend, which was like their big first single kind of thing. So I transcribed the bass line out, and I've been teaching it to my students, and I found that Jeremy, the bass player, was on Twitter, so I sent him the PDF. I said, do you mind if I send it to you? He's like, no, cool, send it over. And then we went to the bedrooms, and I said before, can I come and meet, have my photo taken, get to sign the transcription? Yeah. And he did. It was all really, nice and happy and friendly and everything. And it was a sellout, the Wedge Drums. I had this arsehole drunk bloke stood right in front of me the whole time, just being a pain in the arse.
I'm sorry about
that. Yeah. See, I'm venting now. And like I said, it was sold out, loads of people in there. And just before My Key's Your Boyfriend, Jeremy said, "This is for Aidan Hampson," which was lovely, really nice.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear it because the drunken twat in front of me turned around to me and was explaining to me about how much he liked me and how lovely my hair was. And I was like, and I just completely missed this like amazing thing off the stage.
I think he was hoping that Aidan was going to be his boyfriend.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly.
Is it Mikey as in Mike, or My Key as in music?
I thought it was My Keys.
My Key.
My Key's Your Boyfriend. I still don't really understand that. I mean, you listen to the lyrics. It's good music, though.
Yes, I've not heard it.
Oh, I'll send it over.
We should Google it.
Yeah. It could be
Send me the bass line.
It could be your ending theme tune.
Yeah. Maybe we could, yeah. It would certainly end this one. Maybe I could ask everybody for their own kind of like ending thing, because his whole thing, it's kind of like it's hitting the ground running almost. Like I haven't really got like a clue of what I'm doing with it, which I'm sure is evident.
It's good though, isn't it? I mean, because it's like when you write music, if you listen to too much Elton John, it's going to sound like Elton John, isn't it? Yeah. And I like Elton John, but one's enough, isn't it? One Elton John is enough, I think. Yeah. Although if I could write Tiny Dancer, if I could write, like My Tiny Dancer, I think I could just give up then. That's what you need. Or you need a Christmas number one.
Dedication's what you need.
Just roll it every year like Slade do.
Yeah.
I saw a Slade tribute band in August, and they did it. They did the Christmas song in August.
Oh, wow.
And they had the Santa hats on, and they were dissing out crackers, and
it
was a bit weird.
I think one of my favourite, you have those sort of songs that really just make you think of certain points in your life, like a nostalgia song. Like, that I just died in your arms.
Cutting Crew.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
My friend Guillaume, who I should get on like the podcast as well, actually, like thinking about it. I went to drum tech with him. Okay.
Yeah. We're going to talk about drum techniques.
Oh yeah,
right?
like Guillaume, don't you? Like.
Yes, because he was in a funk band, and he had a chat to me about playing trombone in his funk band.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he was playing at a place, I think it's called the Cashmere Club in London.
Yeah.
And I think either that guy owned it or he ran it or something. So he was a singer from the Cutting Crew, I think, or he was the guy that wrote the song. But anyway, he was either the original singer or the songwriter. And Guillaume told me about this, okay? And then we got really, really drunk, and we were saying to him, please play that song. Please just play it, okay? and we were just kind of hoping, I don't know, maybe like at the end of the night he would play it. And I may be kind of making up this memory, but I'm like 99% certain it happened. He actually stopped the second band's performance, so it was like halfway like through their performance. He just came up on stage and he was like, "Yeah, well, I had some guys that have requested this song for me." Okay. And he just sat down at the piano like and just busted into it.
No way.
And it was one of like the best moments of my life.
It was actually, it wasn't like, it wasn't a twatch moment, it was properly good.
Yeah. And so we were like in the wings going, I just died in your arms. And it was, it was just such an amazing moment. So that was the drum tech days. Yeah. I don't remember any of the stuff I learned, but I remember that moment.
Because we were there at the same time, is this right?
Yeah. I think I was on a different course or a different year or like something maybe.
I was there between 2000 and 2003.
Yeah, so I did the 1 year course in 98 to 99.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so actually, I think I started in 2000 and I did the first year of it.
Yeah.
And then I was in that band Karmic Jera.
With Simon.
So Simon, I'm not sure if he was in Karmic. No, Simon.
Plastic Toys.
Simon joined when it was Plastic Toys.
Yeah.
Actually, when it was called Super Freak 66.
That's a cool name.
Which it's kind of, where did that come from? We weren't even funk fans really, but yeah, we sort of came up with that name. But so I think we got signed and we sort of won an award. It was like Kerrang magazine, or like best unsigned band or something. And so we were all like, yeah, we've made it now. So I left uni. Yeah. And then it only really like lasted a year. Yeah. But there was this moment that as I'm getting on now, I do I sort of like hold in my heart. Okay. And it was when I was moving away from London, and I just kind of packed up my van. And as I was in the street, like this little like kid like came over to me, okay, and he had he had bought a copy of the album, like the Karmic Jera album.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and he asked me to sign it.
Amazing.
And he had seen all of the stuff about the band in, I think it was like Kerrang magazine, and then it kind of like recognised me from across the street.
Wow.
And for about a year, had sort of like collected everything. And it was one of these sort of crazy moments, Even
then unleashed it upon you after a year.
Yeah. Because even my family sort of like didn't really like give a shit in a way.
That's the fan that, like a real fan, not a friend or a family, someone you've never met before.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was just such a cool moment. And it all started because he had seen like a Korn poster up in my room. So he had sort of like known I was into rock, and I think we had kind of like had a moment, we just sort of chat about sort of metal or something like in the street first, and then he'd obviously see me like in a magazine and like, oh my God, I know that guy, and then it sort of like collected it all. Wow. So that was crazy. Wow. Yeah, and yes, that's never happened since. But I have that one kid, it's some quality, isn't it? It's not quantity.
Yeah. He's obviously a quality kid.
Yeah. But he's probably like a murderer now or something.
Yeah.
If you're that kid, please, please get in touch, and
or not.
even if it's a cry for help, I will help.
I think that's kind of. I mean, a lot of people did do those courses, not really expecting to finish them.
Yeah.
Do you think like you're in London, you got all these connections, you got all these amazing musicians the same age as you?
Yeah. Because that's kind of why we did it, really, isn't it?
Because what you got out of it is much more important, presumably, than a certificate at the end of the year.
Yeah, because I think really, like that whole place, changed my life really. Because I grew up in Hythe, and there was hardly any real music. There was a few people there really, but because I didn't know Grant, for instance, is there any of those guys there that were making music?
You've name-checked him in 2 podcasts now.
Have I?
Yeah.
Uber fan.
Be careful.
Uber fan. I'm watching you, Grant. If you could wear the red pajamas this evening, it would be most pleasing. So I didn't know like him or do you know John Howes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was a musician, and he was into stuff, and it was Scott. Do you know Scott Chalmers?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I know Scott. Yeah. Yeah,
so we had kind of played in sort of bands, but like, I just kind of wanted her to take it like really, really seriously, like in it, it kind of didn't really feel like there was many people like it in the area who were like really into music.
Did you kind of feel like it was your only option? Like you weren't? I remember when I was 16, 18. Well, my A levels at 18 were like I pretty much failed maths. I did crap in physics, but then did really well in music because it was all I was interested in. I was like 100%.
Yeah.
Were you kind of the same?
I mean, I was, because my stuff with music, I was never that like academic. You know, like I didn't do music at school. And I didn't do it at college. I mean, this is like a separate podcast, yeah. But I did business studies, and you know, like to this day, like the guy, I think his name is Nick Thornton. You know, I don't even care if he sues me, because you know, like I've never been angry with anybody like in my life really. But you know, like this guy was a complete prick. Okay?
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I've never heard that word come out of your mouth.
and I went there, okay, and I wanted to do. I think it was it was English and history, okay, and he was obviously trying to feel like a business studies course. You know, so everything that I was saying to him, I said, yeah, well, obviously, you know, I want to study history. And he was like, yeah, but have you thought about business studies? I'm like, well, I haven't really. Isn't really wanted to. And I'd got F in business studies, like
that is his fault
from school.
Previously.
Yeah,
okay.
so, you know, I had sort of like no interest in it, and I ended up doing business studies. And I mean, I was so much shyer like when I was a kid, and I imagine that he just sort of browbeat me into it, you know. I remember kind of my mum saying, well, why are you doing business studies? And I was almost like, I don't know, actually.
You're just filling a quota, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Making the numbers up.
Yeah, and so in a way, I mean, as much as, you know, he sort of annoys me when I think about that, yeah, because imagine doing that to like a young, shy kid.
I hope he's watching.
I hope he feels thoroughly ashamed of himself, you caddish bastard. Yeah. Well, yeah, you know, if he can get struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Better than struck off, but yeah.
So I mean, even now you're obviously out of education and holding a job and employed and all this kind of stuff. It's still your business studies has no relevance to what you're doing now.
No.
So it's a complete bloody waste of time.
Yeah, because the thing with it is I'm a really shit businessman, you know, and I had to employ an accountant now because I don't understand any of it.
Oh, I have to do, I'm crap with that.
And because she like sends me like a year-end report, okay, and when I got the first one, like I tried to read it and I got about, you know, I don't know, 30 seconds in, and I was like, no, I've chosen the right lady. I don't understand any of this. I just filed it away. Yeah. And because what was great is my rebate actually ended up like paying for their services. So it was like awesome. But so in a way, I think I'm actually sort of glad I had like such a bad experience there, yeah, because it was so bad. And I did the course for 2 years, and like I didn't even finish, right? And I was into the third year, like, and they said, you know, that I could carry on. So all of the people who I'd actually studied with, like, had already left. So for about like 3 or 4 months, going into Totton College was an insanely horrific, lonely, boring time, because, you know, I didn't like know anybody. I was much shyer. So I was going in every day and almost kind of like hating existence. And then I bought, it was like a drum magazine, and I just saw this advert like for drum tech, and I was like, I'm going to do that.
So how long had you been playing by that point?
So, I mean, I started on the piano like when I was a kid. And I did, well, I didn't take any grades, but, you know, it was more the kind of, like classical approach. I had that book, it's called Mini Steps to Music, that I still see sort of doing the rounds. And I had a dozen a day, which is a great book.
Yeah. The exercises.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great book. I was in like 1957 or something. Yeah. But yeah.
Little stick men.
Yeah. And yeah, so I was doing that, and then I watched a Motley Crue video, and I saw Tommy.
A dozen a day, isn't it?
Yeah. And I saw Tommy Lee, and I saw him you know, kind of like bashing the shit out of the drums, and, you know, and B sort of ploughing his way through the ladies of Hollywood. So I was like, I want to do that.
I want some of that, please.
And I want to play the drums. I need drums here for that. But yeah, so and then I started. So I was about 14, and then I was in a band with my brother and Scott, and we just jammed stuff like Machine Head. We did Entombed. We had kind of quite like an eclectic kind of mix of tunes. You know, it was like Sepultura. I think we did Machine Head, a bit of Entombed. Yeah. There was another friend that was called Dan Wood, and at first Scott, Dan and I were taking it seriously, and then it all just kind of like fell on its arse, really, you know, sort of bands do. Like, and I was like, you know, I really want to take this seriously, yeah, and I just saw this advert for drum tech. So I started when I was like 14. And this was probably when I was like 19. And I was like, I want to do that. You know, I'm quite impulsive. I've just realised. You know, I want to do that. I want to do that. Because literally, and it's weird because these days, like, I find it so harder to make a decision almost on anything.
Yeah.
Like,
before I buy anything, I have to read different reviews.
And in those days, I saw the advert and I spoke to my mum about it. I said that I was going to do it, and she was a little bit like, "Well, yeah, we'll see." And then over the weekend, like, I think I sold my car and half of my other stuff, and I'd already raised sort of like $2,500.
Wow.
And then kind of like she was like, okay, you know, he is serious. Like, and she was amazing for that experience. You know, with rent and everything, because it wasn't in halls. So
you were living in Acton, right?
Yeah. I was in Ealing Broadway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
over the road.
Yeah. Yeah. And because again, I was really lucky with the guys I lived with, like Greg and Cedric. Because a lot of people, you know, when you hear these stories of flatmates, you know, there's always these kind of like horrific stories.
Yeah.
And really, you know, we had, you know, like a couple of little things about, I don't know, you know, washing up or something, but, you know, we got on really well, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, the whole experience was amazing, really. Like, and it was kind of way better than I thought. And I think I only sort of like became the person that I see myself as, I think, then.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like everything kind of pre that, you know, was a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
So what was it? Being with like-minded people? Is that what it was?
I think so. Yeah.
Hampton,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It
was
relocating,
just
kind of.
Yeah, I've realised kind of while we sort of went down this, you know, sort of like nostalgic cul-de-sac. It was, with kind of being around like-minded people.
Yeah.
You know, and just sort of escaping, really. Like, it was an escape.
Yeah.
And I think kind of like that was what was more important to me than actually like the course.
Yeah.
And then what was really weird though is as soon as I started in London, I then joined a band that was back in Southampton.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. So you didn't know these people before?
No.
Wow.
So I joined a band that was called Powhatan Mill with my friend Jeff. Have you ever heard of a band called Seizure?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was the guitarist in Seizure, and then he formed this band Powhatan Mill, and I was just going to fill in, because I was in London, and then I kind of ended up joining them. That's where I met John, that then formed Karmic Jera.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was this.
I see.
Yeah, you know, it's incestuous and it's complicated.
It's like a family tree.
Why
of
do you
bands.
take me down these awkward avenues? Let's talk about you, Aidan.
Sorry, I've just been diverting, haven't I?
It's like therapy. So why
I
did you go to Bass Tech? Is that what you did? Like Bass Tech, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very similar story, but my mum found the advert. And I'd only been playing bass for 6 months by that point now. Yeah. But I was obviously...
Had Nick Thornton, you know, pissed up your dreams as well?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even go to the same college. You still managed to.
Yeah, the bastard.
But I was obviously a musical, you know, I was going to be doing something musical.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'd pretty much ditched the trombone by there. Not because I fell out of love with it or anything, but I'd found the guitar and I'd found the bass, and that just kind of took up 100% of my time.
Like, did you have a moment, like the Tommy Lee moment, where you were like, I want to be that guy?
Yeah, the Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
The Chili Peppers, which is very like...
Yeah, because again, I suppose sort of like bass and drums like are quite in the forefront there, aren't they?
Yeah, it was the first Chili Pepper song I ever heard was Scar Tissue, and I remember him vividly playing it on TFI Fridays, sorry. And then I went straight from Flea directly into Stu Ham, which was like, because I managed to find a Stu Ham transcription book.
Yeah.
And then a Victor Wooten transcription book. So I was like in completely at the deep end. There was no
I was going to
U2
say,
or there was no Oasis or anything. It was like straight into like...
I'm still there. Yeah, I'm still there. And Maiden Voyage.
Yeah.
Distinction.
So I kind of turned up to Bass Tech, and I knew my classical theory is pretty good because I'd done an A-level. My jazz theory, I didn't know much about modes. I didn't know much about...
I didn't know shit.
Yeah.
Honestly. You know, I kind of think I've sort of made a career out of just blagging stuff out, because when I got there, it seemed that everyone else had a similar like experience to you, and they had kind of done like A-level music and all this, and I was just some guy that had a drum kit.
But I don't feel A-level music prepared me at all for...
Okay.
I don't think I mentioned mixed Lydian once in my 3 years of A-level music. we didn't really look at 13th chords. It's completely Baroque music and Bach chorales and all that kind of stuff, which is a completely different world.
Yeah, it is. And isn't it as well with the theory? Like, I remember when I was doing the Open University, and it was the same stuff, but the way that they would explain stuff. So, like, if I was thinking, say, of an inversion of, like, A minor, so you've got, say, C and A, like, they wouldn't see that as an inversion, they would just call that a sixth. And it was kind of, like my whole head, was just kind of thinking of that, okay, well, that's just an A minor.
And also they wouldn't call it really a first inversion, it would be an A or a B or a C. The labelling is different as well.
Yeah, so it's the same stuff, but and you have to get your head around that, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got there and I was on a pretty steep learning curve because in order for me to even get accepted onto the degree course, I needed to have private lessons with Rob Burns, who was head of the bass faculty.
I
don't know whether... I don't think it was a money spinner.
I think there's an element of that, because that's what they said to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, was I had to do like private lessons to get on the course.
Which was like trekking from Southampton to London and back.
Yeah, mate, I was the same.
How did we never meet?
I know, exactly. I know.
We probably drove up the M3 together and back down together.
I used to like park in Richmond and then catch the train to Acton Central.
Yeah. I used to catch the tube to Turnham Green and then walk. So that's why we never met. That's why we didn't.
I never kind of forget. When I first went there, and I kind of totally probably like stereotyped like people from London, because I walked through Acton Park and there was this sort of like gang of quite kind of like hard looking lads.
Youths, were they?
Yeah. And I had to walk like through them, and I was honestly I was like shitting myself. And I remember like this guy was kind of walking sort of towards me, and then in my own fear of thinking like I'm not going to kind of back down, I actually walked into him. And then he was like really like apologetic, like this really big dude, and I was like, oh my god, I've just sort of aggressed somebody.
That's why he did so well.
Yeah. He was actually like really nice, so I was like shit, so that was a good experience, because then I was okay after that. I was like, actually, it's like they say of like Wild Animals, he was more scared of me than I was of him.
My mum might be watching this, but we I haven't told her this, but we had a bit of an evening around fireworks night of putting fireworks into dog poo bins in that park.
You rapscallion.
Which is what made me think of it.
Yeah.
It's all a bit of a laugh, you set a firework, you chuck it in the bin, and the bin explodes and dog shit flies everywhere while you're like legging it away. Yeah. But this was also the same time.
Well, you blinded someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's why that guy was so scared of me. It's like, he's one of the bin guys.
Yeah, I recognise him. But it was at the same time as, do you remember the IRA were bombing Ealing?
Yeah,
like exactly the same time.
Yeah.
And shit kicked off. I was hiding in the bedroom and there was fire engines and police cars and all this kind of stuff.
You like
That's my naughtiest moment, I think.
It's only supposed to blow up poo. Yeah. Not half of Ealing Broadway.
So I ran inside and very loudly put on classical FM and sat there like I was like, it couldn't possibly be me.
What was the name of the pub that was on the Green in Acton? Everyone went to.
Was it the Australian one, the Red something? Oh no, that was up the road.
Oh, the Redback.
Yeah.
That place was mental. No, like the one that was right next to the park.
Was it the one that's right next to the station?
So, you had like drum tech and everything there.
Yeah.
And you walked up the road, and there was the park, and there was
Yeah.
There was like 74A Stanley Gardens or something, wasn't it? Yeah. So then you've got the park there, and there was a pub that was next to it. It's where they used to do all their like shows and everything.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, as a kid, sort of thinking, it's amazing. Have we got kind of like gigs in London? And you realise it's just really like a gig in your local boozer.
Yeah.
In a way, really. But when you're first there, like it's like Wembley or something, isn't it? Yeah. Because, I do think it was a bit of a money spinner though. Because I remember Francis. Like, do you remember Francis?
Didn't he
the
run
French
the thing?
guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I went for the audition, he could sense that I was really, really keen. And he had to kind of mark me on all this stuff. So I think for rock and kind of pop, like, he was really impressed with kind of what I had like taught myself. And this is kind of hugely embarrassing. Like, he said to me, like, play a shuffle. Okay.
Yeah.
I looked at him and I said, what's a shuffle? I just did not know what it was.
Well, it would never cross your... Yeah.
So then he showed me, like, and then I said, oh, okay. And I just picked it up. Yeah. So he said,
Did Machine Head ever do a shuffle?
When they might have done. Just trying to think. I know whether Van Halen have. Hot for Teacher.
Oh yeah, that's a great shuffle.
Yeah. And like Pantera, Psycho Holiday, I think is
really?
kind of shuffled.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, which as a kid, like, I just thought it's that weird one.
Yeah, it's jazz.
Yeah. So he was almost, sort of like nudge, nudge, wink, wink. It was kind of, well, for this stuff, you haven't kind of like reached the, other criteria. But, I can't remember how he said it, but it was almost like, if you want to be on the course, sort of things could be arranged.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think...
Yeah, do you think it was then?
I mean, certainly in my case, kind of maybe in yours, you didn't need it. But, yeah, like for kind of jazz and
I think
blues.
I did need it because my technique was completely self-taught.
Yeah.
And if you learn bass technique by watching Flea...
Yeah.
You're not going to learn amazing technique.
Like, are you doing all the...
Yeah, I was
snapping?
trying to. I mean, God knows what it sounded like back then. I was trying to. But... although he is amazing, of course.
Yeah.
But he doesn't play...
He's got his own like style, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's brilliant. I've loved him for years.
Because I do remember when we were doing, I think it was the funk element, and do you remember the live performance workshops?
Yeah. Oh God, they were scary, weren't
they?
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so I did one of those, and in the rock section it was all fine. Like, I can remember when we were doing the funk one. And I did a couple, and it was the same guy marking.
It was Car Wash for me, I think.
Yeah. Actually, I never forget. Yeah, we, like, I really hope this doesn't sound xenophobic. That it was just funny, because there was loads of like really small, petite, like Japanese girls on the 1 year course. I think it was kind of more on that course.
The singers were they?
Yeah. Than the degree course. But I remember doing like James Brown. I think it was Sex Machine. And it was like, shall I take her to the bridge? Like that, and it was hilarious. It's like, I'm on the scene, like, and they were so kind of petite and nice. It was always really funny, sort of trying to do these, really big personality like James Brown songs. Yeah, but anyway, like in that genre, I remember like the guy saying to me that my kick drum was too heavy.
Okay.
And I kind of thought about changing. And I guess maybe I've always been obstinate. And actually, I just thought to myself, well, actually, like it's my sound now. So, I'm just going to keep it. And I think that actually came from having really, really bad technique when I was learning. And I used to play everything kind of from my legs. So like I wouldn't hop or use like decent technique. Okay. So once I was taught the proper way, it would almost like I've been kind of running in sort of jelly or something for years, and I could actually play. Yeah. And I just thought, sod him.
Yeah, and also like, this is probably inherent in like all education, isn't it? But it's just one man's opinion.
Yeah.
And who's to say, if everyone played drums like he told them to play drums, everyone would come out that place the same. And surely that's not what they want. They want someone there to have a bit of spark and a bit of individuality and to...
Well, hopefully. Because that was what... do you remember Paul Elliott? Because it was him that I went to see when the band got signed, and without going into band politics, like it did cause quite a bit of friction when I was on the course, when I sort of enrolled for the 3-year degree, because everyone else in the band was like, well, we're taking this seriously, aren't we?
Oh really?
Yeah. And I kind of wanted I sort of didn't really want to leave London and wanted her to do the course, but anyway, so there was some friction anyway.
Yeah.
And then we had won this award, and it was at the end of the first year, and I think we'd had a tour at the same time as I was doing all the exams, and I was just absolutely shattered. There was one day when we had a gig in Plymouth, I think, then I had to drive back to London for an exam, then back down to Exeter.
Oh wow.
So and I think I ended up with like tonsillitis or something.
Yeah.
And I went to speak to Paul Elliott, and he was like really nice and really honest. And he said to me, you just have to ask yourself like what you want to get out of this course. He said if you kind of want to be maybe like a session player, or you're kind of aiming sort of towards being a teacher, like having to stay on the course and finish it. If you want to be in a band and you just want to be out there playing, why not just do that? Because you're already doing that. Which is weird as I say it, because I've kind of ended up, like teaching and sort of playing session with people. Maybe it was like reverse psychology. He's like Paul McKenna.
Yeah, he saw. Yeah, he knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, he knew. Yeah, you know, he sort of worked me from the inside. It's like, if he leaves now, I know exactly where he's going to end up.
Yeah, I've seen it happen for years.
Yeah. Same piece of advice. There's always one gullible little shit ask me the same question every week. Yeah.
But I've never felt like my 3 years there. God, I feel like I'm doing a real disservice. But I've never had to show anyone my certificate. I've never had to prove to anyone.
Yeah.
You know, and education is pretty much my full-time, like Monday to Friday now, and they've never asked to see, have you got a degree in popular music performance?
I can say I'm the same. I mean, I'm the same sans the degree. But like, they've never asked me, and I mean...
Well, what you got was probably much more valuable, was actually being out there and doing it and dealing with the record industry and all that
hopefully,
kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's... I'll tell you what I found hard. Like, do you do any projects, you know, with people in their, like, early 20s?
What do you mean, like projects? Like,
you know, so do you like play the bass for any...
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Like younger or any instruments?
When I do, like, dep work. Nothing like... But yeah, I have before.
Yeah, because I think something that I've always really, really tried, like, hard kind of to not do. Do you remember the League of Gentlemen?
Mm-hmm.
And there's that character like from Creme Brulee that's like, it's a shit business.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I sort of don't want to be him. So
like the old jaded drummer.
Yeah. So kind of when you're in these projects and you know, everybody, you know, say like gets their first bit of radio play or something, like obviously kind of to them, you know, it's the sort of stepping stone into the big time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, you know, it's going to happen now. And I remember having those moments and almost thinking, hey, what's going to happen now?
Yeah.
You know, we've been in Kerrang, you know, we were on kind of Kerrang like TV and stuff. And it's a really weird sort of disillusionment afterwards, you know, when it hasn't happened, you know. I think I'm still sort of recovering from it.
Bitter.
Well, it's not bitter at all. It's just weird. I mean, I sent a message to John, actually, from Plastic Toys, and I said, you know, how is he sort of like coping with it? And you know, like you said, some really cool stuff actually. Yeah, because, you know, I think kind of we just assumed, I think, it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not like bitter about it. So it's trying to be as excited kind of for them, like as they are, you know, and not like, well, actually, Sonny Jim. Yeah. You know, we were played on Radio 1, you know, like it's kind of, okay, well, this is amazing because, you know, I mean, okay, you never know, do you? Like it could work for them, you know, and I hope it does.
Well, I remember hearing stories about the Kooks were still living in a bedsit after their first album.
Yeah.
After all, you know, amazing sales and record plays and stuff, but it just shows where the money goes. It doesn't go to the band, does it? It goes.
Yeah. I reckon it all goes to Nick Thornton.
Exactly. Yeah, he had you marked out from an early age, shouldn't he?
He's behind that Trump fella as well. Yeah. Have you heard of that guy Steve Bannon? He's the guy that everyone, you know, says is kind of behind.
Oh yes,
Trump.
Okay, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, so I reckon, you know, Nick Thornton is behind him. Yeah. So can you imagine, like, if that's not even his name, and there's some poor, you know, kind of guy out there crying, you know, saying, "There's this fella that I've never heard of, like,
really, really
besmirching my, besmirching my innocent name." But he's probably guilty of something. So, you know, but like, did you find it a good experience being at Drum Tech and Bass Tech?
Yeah.
Like overall.
Yeah. Because I came out of there and then immediately swapped to doing another degree in something completely different.
What did you do it in?
Which is optics.
Okay.
Because my dad is an optician. My mum and dad own a chain of opticians called Optique through Southampton. Yeah. And I worked there. I used to go to Bass.
Can you hook a brother up?
Oh, well.
State of these eyes, mate, I tell you.
Oh, really? I'll send him over.
Yeah.
It'll be like...
I mean, I'm like I think I'm minus 425 in one and minus 375 in the other.
No, I see. He'll be listening to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have an astigmatism.
So was it laser surgery? Is that what...
And I'm ugly.
But you can't see yourself in the mirror, so it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't have to worry about it. Every cloud.
Yeah, it's a blessing, exactly.
Yeah, actually, like, I do remember when I first kind of like put on lenses, you know, I'd only ever like seen myself properly with glasses on, you know, so I was obviously hoping, you know, when I kind of, you know, took them off and put put in lenses for the first time, it would be sort of like Tom Cruise was staring back at me. And I was like, oh bollocks.
So I did that for a year, and then just pretty quickly realised it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me. So I stopped that, and then auditioned for cruise ships, and then spent the next 6 months in America, Mexico, and the Caribbean, living on a cruise ship, being in the show band. It was just like,
how was the cruise ships?
You know what? For my playing, it was great.
Yeah,
it was great because, especially from the American point of view, like if you're a jazz musician, you either become a jazz musician playing the clubs, or like I think the next step down is to be in cruise ships, playing jazz on cruise ships. So there's some great players on there, and by that point, I've been playing bass for like 3 or 4 years, and I was up against these people, like these 50-year-old pianists who've been playing jazz piano full on for 35 years.
Were they jaded? Were they like creme brulee?
Well, it's funny.
It's a shit business, this cruise lark.
The thing about the cruise ship is it's really claustrophobic. You can't get away from it. And these stories about these MDs, the musical directors, being tyrants because they live in their job. And you're never further away than like 50 metres from the stage. And it's all they have. There's nothing else to do on a cruise ship.
Yeah. So, that'd make a good documentary, I think.
I think it really would.
Yeah.
I think it really would.
We should do it.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
You'd have to drag me back onto the cruise ship.
That's okay.
I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, to see Barbados and to see San Diego. And
I mean, it sounds excruciating, Aidan.
I don't
know how you coped.
That was good, but I got flown off because I did myself a shoulder injury because I was playing like.
Flown off?
Flown off. Is that the right term?
Okay.
No, it's flown off. It's flew off.
You know. But it's fine. I thought you were kind of like telling some stories of the heady days on the cruise ships for a minute.
See.
Yeah.
I'll see. Yeah, my dad might be watching this.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Aidan's dad.
But because I was playing bass for so long every day, I got frozen shoulder, and I just couldn't play anymore. So from like a physical point of view, it kind of knackered me pretty quickly. Yeah. But it did wonders for my sight reading and like playing with the group, and all the pressures is great for you.
Because that's a bit like with athletes and stuff. I've often thought to myself, like if you've like trained, say, for the Olympics, and then maybe like on the build-up, you injure yourself, and that's you out of the game. Did you see the pole vaulter guy?
What's that?
I didn't actually like see the video, but I think it was in Rio. I think he jumped up and his leg or something snapped in the air, or his arm did, or something horrific anyway. Yeah. And I mean, there's probably like no way back for sort of like a professional athlete after that, is there?
No.
Yeah. And
no, because it only comes around every 4 years, isn't it? I mean, you're not in your prime for that long.
Because that's what I found, with my voice though, when that went, I honestly thought like it would never come back again. And actually, it's weird that, like, even now I'm kind of hitting pretty much all of the notes I was, like, and it actually sounds pretty similar. When I kind of listen to it, I've sort of compared kind of older and sort of like newer recordings. It feels different. Like I can't really put my finger on it.
Did you have to relearn your technique, or did you have to approach it differently?
Well, I had to learn some technique, which was the problem. I think probably like in the first place.
Do you think that was? Do you think that's what?
I mean, I'm sure it was. I think it was just.
I mean, it happened to
us. Like overuse. Yeah, and I mean, like me and her, we share so many like similarities. I answer the phone saying hello also.
Hello.
Yeah. And so it was gutting for a while, because I honestly thought to myself, I'm never going to be able to.
I remember it happening.
Yeah. And
it wasn't that long ago, was it?
No, it was so in April it would be like 2 years. And I think it's only really like with the gig I did on with Ainsley Lister, like I think that was sort of the first one since it happened that I honestly felt okay, like it's coming back now. Up until that point, it always felt like I was straining, and I think when I played any of my songs at the Big Bike Bash, I think they were all like a semitone, like down.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so like it's sort of back to the same key, and in fact, you said about that song The Hunger earlier on. Well, in that song, like I'm hitting like an A.
Yeah.
Which for me, I mean, even kind of like when my voice was on a good day, sort of before all this happened, like I couldn't get above a G.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so actually, even though at certain points, so around, I guess where like the bridge is, around kind of like E flat, E, F kind of area. Like that's probably sort of the hardest area for me, like I had to sing in, actually. And I, like I still don't know kind of what was affected or what, but it's like I can just feel that it feels like it's heavier. Like I can't do like a thin sound there anymore. So like I have to kind of, like belt it almost.
Yeah.
But,
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, if you compare singers when they were young to singers when they were old, they all changed. Paul McCartney sounds completely different, isn't it? It's just as you get older, everything, you have to kind of negotiate that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I think I've got kind of that to come as well as what happened. Yeah, because I think, like this was like a complete freak thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it was just my voice broke.
It wasn't your balls dropping.
yeah, exactly. Finally happened. It's like he's hit puberty. Yeah. But it did, it did feel a bit like that actually. Like it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, when I go out now, like I can't really, which is probably why I'm sort of kidnapping people to do these podcasts, because if you're out in a pub like having a conversation, I can't really like do that anymore. Yeah, because I wake up in the morning and my voice feels really damaged.
All
you know
right.
when you've got like loud music and you're kind of talking over the music, it's the worst thing for my voice.
All right.
I think actually.
That's because of what happened.
Well, I think so, because like it never used to be like that.
Yeah.
I could shout and scream and like.
And is that likely to be forever, or is it going to go away, or is the doctor's?
I'm not sure to be honest. I mean, I went like through the doctors, but I think, and I will, like prefix this. I was saying like God love her, the NHS. I do love it, but I think because of the nature of it, if you can talk, then you're okay. Like in their book, it's like if you've got like a back problem,
Yeah.
if you can walk and you're not in.
There's someone worse than you 3 places down the queue.
Yeah. And it was a bit of that really, like, and I had to, beg really.
Yeah.
I did beg actually, like I had to get the appointment.
No.
Because I went kind of to one doctor that just really couldn't like give a shit.
Yeah.
And I went to like another one. And in a way, I mean, it's sad you have to do this, but like, I had to kind of pull on our heartstrings.
Yeah.
And just say, look, this is really affecting me emotionally. I mean, it was true, but it was just weird I had to do that.
Yeah.
And then I had a camera like down there, and they were like, it's like I don't have nose, but they could kind of hear that something wasn't going right because you have to make some certain sounds. And then I was referred somewhere else, and then I just kind of let it all slip really, So I guess I'm realising in the telling it's my fault. It's like the NHS was brilliant.
You're a lot about yourself.
Yeah, I am. The NHS was brilliant. It was me that was rubbish, actually. Yeah, because I just...
But did you start getting better then?
I just gave up, because it was getting better and I thought, well, actually, I'm just going to ride this pony and just see what happens. Yeah.
You might come out sounding like Leonard Cohen and it'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah. And, so I can now sing like one tone higher than I could.
Yeah.
Yeah, so every cloud.
But maybe because
it took 2 years.
Is it because you've been singing for longer and then?
I mean, I think I've been paying kind of a bit like more attention to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think, and I was never like a natural like singer anyway. I mean, there's some people.
What with the amazing vibrato and the.
Yeah, when you hear someone like Adele, I mean, she's a singer.
Yeah.
And actually, when I played at the gig with Ainsley List, I was going to say Ainsley Harriott.
When was that?
Yeah, so when I was doing his cookery show. Yeah, so and I had a friend of mine, Sapphire, and she played for me. She sang harmonies. And she's a singer. Like her voice is amazing. In fact, she came in to put down some backing vocals for. There was another friend was doing like a school concert, and they just needed, I think it was vocals for the kids, had to sing along to. So she laid them down, and she did like two takes, like a main take and the harmony, and she was doing it from sight reading.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing, So I was like, okay, I need to sing.
Wow, that is
I need to
when you
sing
see her
with
sing
this
a
girl.
sight read, it's completely different to an instrumentalist.
And actually, on the second take, she said, "Oh, I want to do that bit again, because I hit a G and not an A."
Wow.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So she did it again, and so I was like, okay, she's a singer, and she sang harmonies, And I did even say to her, when we were practicing, I said, if anyone's going to make a mistake, I wouldn't worry, it will be me. and I made two, that that I can think of, like probably more. There was one where I think the line is something. It's either Tuesday morning or something like, and I said Tuesday evening.
Oh no!
But she sang it right.
I would do.
Yeah, but she sang it right.
I bet that ruined the gig, didn't it?
Yeah, oh, mate, honestly. Yeah, it did. I was crestfallen. Yeah.
Isn't it funny?
I looked up and Nick Thornton was there going.
Yeah. Yeah. You would. Yeah. You'd pay more attention.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny, like how a musician's mind is so much more critical than an audience's mind?
Yeah, honestly.
Don't you think? Like, the amount of times you come out and think, God, that was shit.
Yeah, definitely.
And then an audience member comes up to you and says, God, that was amazing.
Yeah.
It's because is it a different perspective, do you think, or is it just because you know what you're supposed to be doing so much more, or because you care so much more?
It's a tough one. I think it is just because maybe we're just predisposed to kind of thinking like negatively about ourselves, maybe. Yeah, and just being like critical.
Maybe the audience member is much more in the atmosphere of everything, and actually their enjoyment of an evening isn't just whether you say morning or evening.
Yeah.
It's because they were their mates, and there's a great night out, and actually we're just a component of that.
Yeah. And actually, I had some really nice compliments, and I've sort of learnt the hard way that if someone's saying they enjoyed it, the single worst thing you can do, I think, is kind of go, oh no, I messed up at that bit.
But because you're completely negating what they and undermining what they said to you.
Yeah, because I used to be like, oh no, I sort of screwed up in that bit. And now I'm just really thankful because people don't actually have to say anything to you, do they?
No.
They could easily just kind of walk by and be like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
So when they've actually made the effort, they're not kind of doing it to give you like a platitude. They obviously mean it. Yes. So I guess in a way, like, it's kind of rude if you turn around and go, actually, your perception's rubbish.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Yeah. I know about music, love.
And here's your refund.
And you've screwed the pooch. Yeah. What do you say, like, if you've had a bad gig and someone says?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think what they're getting at the evening is so different to what you're trying to get out of the evening.
Yeah.
That if they've had a good time and they've enjoyed it, then they're kind of like, let them.
Just thinking, it's a bit like if I've been with a lady. Very similar.
yeah, completely different.
If they've had a good time, yeah, I just kind of go, yeah. It was fine. I mean, it's never happened to me.
Wait, what about that bit? That was like 2 minutes and 43 seconds in.
2 minutes and 43 seconds. You stallion. Little Nora, minus the 2 minutes maybe. Sorry, Aidan's dad. Yeah. What were we talking about, like, before I cheapened it?
Oh, I don't know. We were talking. Yeah. So you asked me what I say when people come up to me and say it was amazing when I didn't think it was.
Yeah.
What do I?
You just kind of slap them down with a truth bomb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I tell them I wave my popular music performance degree in their face.
Yeah, exactly. Look, love. I know about music. Yeah. I think...
I'm always flattered. It's always nice because you're right. They don't have to come up and say anything to you.
Yeah.
And I think just from years of doing it, it's like what we were saying. I really like if I accidentally hit a B flat instead of a B in the second chorus of the third song.
Yeah.
Actually, there's so much more going on.
Yeah.
In the whole in there.
Have you ever had someone that's noticed that?
Yeah.
I mean, that is a real pain in the arse. I think.
That's going to make you practice, isn't it?
Yeah. But I mean, more for the fact that those people are quite sad, that come up and like tell you that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
have had people like say
what they're there for. It's like train spotting musicians, isn't it?
Yeah. Or I remember somebody like once, with the EP like cover, like said, because inside, there's like a picture, of me sort of behind like the CD. And I can't remember kind of what they said, but they were sort of insinuating how the picture made me look kind of much better than I do in real life.
Oh, really?
And I was thinking to myself, well, even if that's true, that's such a weird thing to say to somebody.
Do you remember what they said?
I can't remember what it was. They were like, oh, they caught you on a good day or something like that.
Oh, dear.
And I was thinking, all right.
Well, he's just caught you on a bad day, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking, get your passport out, love.
Yeah.
We'll have a look at you, shall we? Yeah. It was a guy, actually, like quite a, I mean, it shouldn't really matter, but like he wasn't exactly Brad Pitt.
You know what
So
I think
was
he was
thinking-
doing? He was a bit overawed by you. You're like you're a proper rock musician, and
He
your face
was
and it's his way of bringing you down to his level.
Yeah,
It's like you hear these stories about these men who chat up girls
could
by
be he's
insulting
right.
them.
Yeah, like negging. Yeah,
yeah, is that the word? Is
exactly.
It? There
He
we
was
go.
negging me. Is that a whole thing like gaming, isn't it?
Well, he's trying to
He was-
prove to you that he's cool enough and he's on your
He was
level. and he's
gaming
like-
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, it worked
Yeah,
because
there you go.
it's still stuck in my head. I just want to have that guy's babies. Damn. Yeah.
That's what it is, because you have, like, when you see someone you're completely in awe of, like when I met Lawrence Cottle.
Yeah. Did you go, you're rubbish?
No, I was like, oh god, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And then walked away and I thought, shit, what? No, you know, he hears that all the time. When I met John Paul Jones at the bass show, I took all my CDs with him and I gave him this big long thing. Like, you actually asked me earlier what was my moment. Actually, it's probably, thinking about it now, it's probably John Paul Jones, because I remember having Led Zeppelin 2 on in my headphones on the college bus and just listening to the Lemon song over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I shook his hand. I said, thank you so much, because it was it's your playing on particularly that song that's led me to have like a career as a musician and a career as a bass player. And I kind of poured my heart out to him. And then bless him. He looked at me and he said, oh, that's really nice. Yeah, thanks.
Damn. Brutal.
I didn't even cry.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost worse than him saying piss off.
I shook his hand, he signed my CDs, and then the next person in the queue came along.
Because it might be, though, that he's just bad at like expressing that.
It's probably because he hears it 10 times a day. It's probably...
Yeah.
I mean, when you're that famous.
Isn't that weird, yeah, that you get sort of like complacent of like people, I wouldn't say like kissing your ass, but, you know, being so kind of thankful, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, because everyone's frame of reference is different, you know, but as I sit here now, I don't think I'd ever tire of that.
No.
Like, do you know what I mean?
No.
You know, like if somebody was saying that, and I don't even mean like in an arrogant way, but sort of like just because I know how much certain musicians have meant to me, you know. I mean, I've had like a couple of people, there's one of my songs where this lady said it made her cry. And that was something that, you know, sort of, because really like good music, it has kind of moved me emotionally, like, and that was one of the things, you know, that kind of I always wanted, you know, was to sort of move somebody emotionally. So it was kind of, you know, it was amazing to hear that I made somebody cry. It's like, yeah, it's a weird thing to be. I was like, yeah,
That's great, though, isn't it?
Like,
'Cause it means you're reaching out.
yeah,
I mean, and it means that they're receiving a song on the same level that you're delivering it. You're right. It's getting hit in the right places.
but actually, like, she did kind of get the interpretation of the song wrong, you know. But I sort of didn't feel like telling her that because the song isn't actually about mine and my father's relationship. But
Which song is this?
It's the one that's called "Watching Me Burn."
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's sort of about Satan being like kicked out of heaven, and it's, you know, and it's kind of asking the question, you know, like would a loving father like really do that, or like would they sort of try to work with the kid, you know, sort of through the mistakes? And it's about the fact, you know, when you work with kids, kind of, you realise sometimes we can learn from them as much as they can learn from us, and it should be like a sort of two-way street. And that's kind of what the song's about. But she sort of took it kind of literally as being, you know, like a struggle with, you know, with your father. And I thought to myself, well, if that's what she heard in it, you know, then that's great. You know, I'm not going to go, actually.
But you hear singer-songwriters say that a lot, that people interpret the songs.
Yeah. But they should do, shouldn't they?
Yeah, and they're under their own, under their own.
Because I think, you know, you hear kind of like stuff in everything. When I remember once having a conversation with a friend of mine, Steph, about have you heard of Josh Ritter, I think his name is, like a songwriter, and it's called The Curse. And we were sort of exchanging our you know, like takes on the song, like, and our interpretations of it, and then kind of I realised afterwards that actually both of us were just basically superimposing kind of where we were in our lives on the song. And it wasn't so much, you know, that we'd got it wrong. It's just kind of like that's what it meant sort of to us in that moment, which is what art like does, I suppose.
So it's more like you're delivering an emotion rather than a literal meaning.
Yeah, you're you know, like giving them license to feel.
Oh, there's an album title.
Yeah, exactly. License to Feel.
Yeah.
Although,
with you dressed up as James Bond.
Yeah. Just don't do like a "Do you want to be in my gang?" as you play it.
Oh yeah, not that kind of feel.
Yeah, exactly. License to Feel. Oh dear, bless him. Yes, we've not even spoke about like the bass transcription books. I think we need to discuss that.
I'm a bit of a funny place with that at the moment because the store has been closed. I mean, I don't own the store. I just write the transcriptions.
Yeah.
And it's been under maintenance for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks. For whatever reason, it's a server upgrade or something.
But they've been getting loads of like good reviews, like from the people that have actually written some of the songs.
Well, most recently Nathan East, which is amazing. Blew my mind, that did.
Yeah, so I mean that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean he's an absolute hero. Obviously he was on Get Lucky and Footloose and played with Clapton. Like he's the man, isn't he?
Yeah.
And
have any of them said yes? It's a B flat.
You know what? Who did I meet? I met Michael Lee from Snarky Puppy.
Yeah.
And I showed him one of my transcriptions, and within seconds he's like, "No, it's wrong." And I met Josh Farrow from Paramore, and I showed him a guitar transcription. And he looked at it and said, It's not right. And I said, yeah, it is.
Yeah, amazing. You don't know your own song, you bellend.
And then he said, actually, no, I'm just having you on it is, right?
Yeah. Amazing. But I guess, so are they, is it tabs as well as music or like?
Yeah, I mean, it started off for me as me being a bass guitar teacher. Bass players aren't really very well served by transcription books. No. I mean, the majority of transcription books are like things from the 80s, like all the Metallica books and Guns N' Roses were written when it came out. So it's all really old-fashioned and it's not particularly accurate and it's hard to read and or there just isn't the material there. I mean, it's not like every album is transcribed for guitar.
Yeah, because I've even found that as well with the Rock School, because Rock School have those hot rocks things. Yeah, but they haven't got that for the bass, have they?
No, they're not.
No.
So no.
You know, it's rubbish, I think.
Well, you can see why, because it's just purely because there's more guitarists and bass players. So they're going to hit the market. So I thought, right, I'm gonna for my students, rather than relying on ultimate guitar tabs, which are like completely unreliable and untrustworthy. Yeah. I'm going to actually sit down and write it out myself because I reckon I can make a pretty good stab at this. So I sat down with Sibelius and my headphones on and wrote it all out. And the more I did it, the quicker I got, and the more accurate I got. And actually, for me as a musician, it's great because it gives you an insight to these players. The fact that you have to listen to it so intricately and slow it right down. Yeah. And it's like analysing decision making, and their decision making all the time, which is really cool. And then trying to display that on music in a legible way, in a way that someone who's just seeing it at face value can kind of get what they're trying to get at. So it's more than just notes. It's I find it quite fascinating, really. But
do you find because what I found I was weird first when I went to the guitar from the piano is the fact that you can play stuff in so many like different places,
and that's the hardest thing, because you hear a note, but on a bass guitar there's usually 4 different ways of playing that note. Yeah.
So like, do you try to kind of figure out a way to like play it, or do you more sort of transcribe the notes, like, if you see what I mean? So like, do you go, okay, well you could use this shape here, or do you just go, okay?
I do a lot of YouTube watching.
Yeah.
Because although they may not play it in the most obvious way or the most logical way, because everybody's different, what I try and do is I try and watch them play it and then try and put down what they do, because I don't think anyone's really interested in my interpretation of the notes. They want to know how the person actually played it. Yeah. So I try and make it as 100% kind of
accurate as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. But the problem with these, of course, is I started to amass all these transcriptions. I had folders and folders like that of transcriptions, which I'd done, but selling them is an absolute nightmare. You either go down the route of contacting the publishers directly. Yeah. Of the artist, like going to Warner Chappell or something, and they just don't reply. They're not interested. Yeah. There's not enough money in it for them, so they don't reply. Or you go and try and get it licensed by music sales and people like that. Yeah. And it's so hard because they have their own transcribers on the books. Yeah. So Hal Leonard aren't just going to let some bloke from Southampton start submitting stuff because they've got all these transcribers. Yeah. Under their books anyway, who they kind of need to keep employed.
Because that was a question like I remember asking you, because I mean, my next goal is to do. I I don't think I've like cracked the code for the piano yet, but for the drums and the guitar, like, you know, I kind of feel that I've got a pretty foolproof method of getting kids, you know, from like total beginners up to like grade 1 level, and also being able like to read music or like tabs, and it's almost like every single book I've seen, certainly with the drums, that's aimed at kids or adults, like every student I've ever had is pretty much lost by like page 2.
Yeah.
So like I kind of break loads of rules in the beginning, but then it kind of builds to a place, you know, where it like it all starts to make sense. So like I don't write out drums with 8th notes. I just do 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of kick, hat, snare, hat sort of thing. And then kind of slowly introduce things like 8th notes. And within that, I use kind of like certain songs. Like for instance, like on the drums, I use like song 2. On the guitar, I've got there's like Seven Nation Army and a kind of simplified version of like Back in Black. But if I was like to turn it into a book, like would I be able to do that? Or
you wouldn't be able to sell it.
No.
In fact, it's probably iffy in the law whether you could even use it to teach with.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not exactly sure when the law comes in. It might.
How
even
do those like people like on YouTube? Like we've seen that guy Marty Schwartz.
Yeah.
Because he's always teaching other people's songs. I mean, so like is he illegal?
Maybe. Maybe. I mean, he might have acquired the license. He might be.
You seem like such a nice guy.
Yeah. Trump will be after him as well.
Yeah.
He might have acquired the license because you make money out of the videos, and he might be portioning that off and then sending it to the license holders. You don't know. You don't know. But you can't sell it without the license. And what happens is you get a letter from the license holders, like a cease and persist.
Yeah.
I mean, this is how it is in America. You get like a cease and persist kind of letter saying stop or we're going to have you.
Yeah.
And if you carry on doing it and they do have you, they sue you for the amount of money you've made and the amount of money that they could have made had they done it themselves.
What if you totally like, so for instance, like Back in Black.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much the same notes, but I've kind of like simplified the riff. Well, like what if you called it like Back in Brown?
Well, it happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it does happen. I don't know how different it needs to be.
Okay.
Legally, because I've been kind of lucky because I found someone who acquired the license to like all the major record labels, which pretty much covers like everything.
Yeah.
And music sales permitted him to start selling this stuff, and then I got in contact with him and said, "I've got all these books. Can I sell them through your store?" He was like, "Yeah, that'd be cool."
Yeah.
I mean, I completely landed on my feet with that. And
can you hook a brother up?
Well, the store being in maintenance for so long.
Yeah.
Just, fingers crossed it'll all sort itself out. But I'm kind of I feel a bit like I'm in limbo at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Was it making money, was it?
Well, I don't know because I don't know how much he had to pay to the license holder. He's never really told me that.
Okay.
So I don't know. But
you need to iron these details out.
Well, yeah. I got my portion. And I was quite happy with that. So I was kind of like, just like, you can sort all the rest of it out. But I was like proper gung ho. I thought, right, I'm not going to get this opportunity very often. So I've written over 40 books in the 18 months that I've had the license, and I've just been. I mean, my poor wife, like. She's, she wants to spend the evening with me, and I'm there with my headphones on, like transcribing out Duran Duran or something.
Or here, I'm talking to a buffoon.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kelly. Yeah. I mean, I can't go any further without mentioning it because I mentioned the EP like cover earlier on, and I was thinking about like Kelly's artwork on it. Yeah, I might have to get her to do like the second one as well.
Of course.
Yeah, because
in fact, she'll be offended if you don't.
I really love it, honestly. Like it all just came out of a picture that she posts.
Yeah.
And then I put on there something like, if you could draw someone that looks like me, like next to a rocket ship, I'd so use that.
And she delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that, it almost seemed like she was, sort of going, kind of like this, like as if it was a joke. And I was like, yes, that. That's what I want. Yeah.
Well, she's a professional drawer, isn't she?
Yeah.
Well, architectural technician, but it's the same thing.
Yeah. But I mean, what I liked about it was like it had sort of like this amazing, like, how can I put it? It's like a childlike naivety, like to, because each of the characters like have got their own hairstyle and stuff, and that's so what sort of kids do when they draw things.
Like drawn by a child.
Yeah, but
that's what you're skirting around. But that's what you mean.
Well, I guess, yeah. But I mean it in a nice way, because I always think like the kids' drawings. It's how I draw as well.
Yeah.
Like, is there really
like the square house with the triangle roof?
Yeah. Is they're often like really creative and they have character, and then and we see like a lot of kind of like adult drawings and they're quite safe, and it's like we sort of lose that ability just to kind of sit down and just draw something.
I love it when 3-year-olds draw humans and they've got massive long legs because that's from their perspective.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Yeah, in fact, I was at school earlier on. It was at Calmore School, and they got loads of pictures like the kids have done like self-portraits. Okay, and there's one kid. I kind of guess it's supposed to be his lips, maybe. Okay, but he's basically drawn Hitler. Like I looked at the picture, like it's got this kind of, this kind of hair like this, and then I think they're supposed to be lips, but like it looks like he's got this little kind of like Hitler moustache. And I was looking at it thinking, why is a kid drawn Hitler? Because I didn't realise it was like a display, of like self-portraits. So I was thinking,
right. Well, perhaps it's a kid just looks like Hitler.
Yeah, maybe. His moustache is a giveaway. Because I do remember, and this is like a bad admission actually, when I worked at Southampton Central Library, my friend Kieran, he just said to me once, he said, he goes, look at that woman like with her little Hitler moustache. Okay. And I didn't really see her, so I just kind of like laughed, out of politeness. And then about like an hour passed, and then she sort of came out to the withdrawal part, with some books. Like, and I looked up, and this poor woman, like, she had a birthmark basically. Oh no! But it was like perfectly here, like that, and it was totally like a little Hitler moustache. Because he had said that already. I just knew that I was going to laugh, and it was one of these kind of moments where. So what I did is, I kind of knocked a piece of paper off the side and went, I better get that, I was trying to kind of like stifle a laugh down there, but it was, like it was this thing where I was kind of torn in the moment, between sort of not wanting this poor woman, to think that I was laughing at her, but just kind of knowing that I was going to laugh.
When you were talking at the very beginning about coming back in Second Lives and all that kind of stuff, you don't imagine, was she about 7 years old?
Exactly. Yeah. Christ, it's him. Or maybe like how this kid at the school is.
Yeah, maybe.
Or he's haunting me.
Hitler's served his time as a worm or like a beetle or something.
Maybe I was like Eva Braun in a previous life, and he can't keep away from me.
Yeah, he's hunted you down. Yeah,
he's got good taste. Anyway, yes. So like bass transcriptions. What a crazy segue! I have to watch this back and go, like, how have we got the bass transcriptions to Hitler? It's like Godwin's law, isn't it? They say when it's on the internet, it's like an argument. Like if you mention Hitler, like it's invalid or something. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
So we've just done that.
Time,
yeah.
I mean, you asked earlier about the people I've transcribed that have seen the book, and one of the very first ones I did was for the band ABBA.
Yeah.
And the bass player for ABBA was a guy called Rutger Gunnarsson, who was this Swedish chap who played on he did Dancing Queen and he did Waterloo and he did all the classic. He was the man. And because there's no ABBA bass books, there's no ABBA transcriptions at all. So I thought, right, I'm going to do this. This is going to be my first one. So I spent a long time on it and made sure it was really good. It was as good as I could get it. And I sent it to him. Oh, no, that's not true. No, it was on release for a while. And he emailed me.
Yeah.
And he said, my name's Rutger Gunnarsson and I hear that you've written a book about me and I'd really like to have a copy of it, please. And he said, could you please sign the copy and then send it to me to my studios in Sweden?
Oh, wow.
He wanted me to sign it, which I found very strange, but I did. And I sent 2 copies, so I wanted him to sign it and then also send it back to me.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I didn't hear from him for a few weeks. We had a little email conversation, just chatting and stuff. And I didn't hear from him for a few weeks. And then the news came out that he had died.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, so I sent him the book.
Yeah.
And I knew he'd received it because his daughter
was he
sent
so
me an
upset
email.
with your transcription?
Yeah, exactly. Just no scrawled over.
It's a C here.
Because his daughter emailed me after, a few weeks after the funeral and everything. She said, I'd like to thank you for sending him the book because it was open on his kitchen side and it was found there open on the kitchen side. So you might be right, actually.
Oh, wow.
And then it's nice to think that, that he spent a little time like reminiscing over his good years before.
Definitely. I mean, I feel bad for being flippant now because that's an amazing story. Because, I mean, it could be like, and I've heard this like story a lot that sometimes like people somehow, you know, I don't know, like know it's their time or something.
Yeah.
And you could imagine like if maybe he had felt sort of forgotten or something like by music.
Yeah.
And then, you know, finding out somebody's like taking the time to do that. And like I was saying about how I don't think I'd ever grow tired of that.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe like he just hadn't had that like for ages, and it was just like, you know, it was like one last time of, you know, like someone saying, man, you know, like you mean a lot to me sort of thing.
I was just amazed at how lovely and genuine and humble he was. The fact he took out the time to email me, because normally it's me pestering these people.
Yeah.
You know, after obviously he was their live musician as well. He went on all the world tours, and he was in the middle of all that craziness in Australia when they went through all that and everything.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. So
like, did you ask him for any inside info?
No. Well, no. I was trying to. I thought I'd get the signature back, and then I was like, send him.
So saying we can't like, get him on.
Yeah. So I was going to ask him for a forward or something.
Yeah.
Forward, I swear, isn't it? But yeah, I was never able to. It's a shame.
Yeah. I mean, like, can you use like people's reviews of it, like, to, you know, to then kind of put in the books and stuff, or is it that it's all you've already written now? Like,
it's kind of like that. I mean, Lee Sklar, do you know Lee Sklar? He's the bass player with the massive beard.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's a really cool guy. And he found, because every book I released to do a little YouTube advert, and he found the YouTube advert, and he messaged on his own page saying, "Oh, someone's done a book about me." So I took the opportunity and messaged him on Facebook, and he gave me a quote. So I was able to put that on a picture and send it out and all this kind of stuff. And like, so that was cool. And then Nathan Lee sent me a little bit of a quote as well. That was cool.
Yeah,
that was cool.
So you're the first celebrity that we've had on the podcast.
Am I really? Well, because I've had a Twitter conversation with Nathan East.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it's the kind of thing I've been waiting for.
Here we go. It's going to go massive.
It's you know, but I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Like how with music, with anything maybe, that have you found that since people who other people have heard of, like have like taken notice, more people have shown an interest.
Say that again. So
sorry, it was a really like complicated way of saying it, wasn't it? Since people that other people have heard of, since they've, you know, either like got involved or you know, kind of praised the books, like have other people like become like more interested, or
yeah, definitely with the Lee Sklar thing, definitely, because as soon as he put an advert up saying all this book's been written about me, like I had a big spike in Sklar books.
Yeah, because that's such a weird
kind of an accreditation.
Because I noticed, like, do you remember when you recorded when Violet Walls and Pigtails was on Radio 2? Okay, well, what was weird, like, is that song was probably about like 2 years old, like by that point, in its kind of like fully finished form. And when I first posted it, probably about, you know, I don't know, like 10 or 8 people listened to it. And then as soon as it was played on Radio 2, and then I kind of posted it again, you know, for anybody to notice, and kind of loads of people who I'm sure like had already seen it, like then started liking and commenting and sharing it. And it seems weird that it sort of takes someone that people have heard of to then show an interest. You know, like I guess it's just the way it is, I suppose, isn't it? The
perception is probably that she receives so many hundreds of thousands. It's like the John Peel thing of. And she's chosen your song, so it's like... Yeah. It's cool.
So I guess it's like the same... You know, like if someone already has a reputation, like... you know, for the different bass players and stuff, you know, they're sort of like more likely to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a stamp of approval from... It's a stamp of approval from someone people approve of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, meta-approval.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we need for the podcast, I reckon. You know, I mean, we were saying with Messenger, like it's, you know, because I think I'm probably doing it as much for me like as anybody else. You know, I mean, I hope kind of that people listen. Like I think
I feel like we've been on a little journey over this last.
Yeah, I know exactly.
How long has it been?
I'm not sure.
Shit, has it been 2.5 hours?
No, I don't think it's been 2.5. I think we started about 8:20.
What time is it now?
So it's 3 minutes past 10.
Because I saw 2.5 there. Top left.
I think that's... Fuck, I hope we haven't, you know, kind of changed time or something. Yeah, we have been recording for 2.5 hours, but Somehow it's only 3 minutes past 10.
Oh, okay.
We're having an acid trip. And this is like the 4th time round.
Yeah.
Yeah, or something. But yeah, it's you know, I think I'm sort of doing like as much for me like as anybody else. You know, but hopefully kind of like people are interested in it.
Yeah.
You know, but I guess again, you sort of the more you get people that people have heard of and stuff, so, you know.
It just takes that. It just takes that breakthrough, doesn't it? It just takes that, because there's lots of podcasts bubbling under the surface. It needs a little push to come.
So you got Leland, is that?
Yeah.
His name. Yeah. So you got him with the bass. Yeah. So I need to get, you know, like Joe Rogan, you know, to listen to it and go, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Or like, it's not shit.
That famous passenger quote.
It isn't shit.
Yeah, it wasn't shit.
Yeah. I mean, that could be like a good liner to leave it on. Like if you, you know, if you've got to go, like, you know.
Well, it's not me. It's the 4 listeners that I feel sorry.
We could leave it on. Yeah. It's not been shit. Yeah. We should say to people like to leave a comment, you know, and see if they can come up with their most sort of like backhanded like compliment.
Because you can do the whole iTunes.
Yes, on
review.
iTunes. Yeah. It's on iTunes.
5-star review. It wasn't shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have to come up with like a creative review for it, and I won't be offended.
That's if they got this far after 2 hours and 35 minutes.
But often, like people, I mean, I think that's some kind of weird time code, because I mean, it can't have been that, unless, like, I didn't study in maths enough. But yeah, it was like 8:20 when we like started. Okay. So, yeah. But what's bad is the fact it's obviously felt like 2.5 hours for you. You're like, geez.
I was a little bit surprised.
You're like, geez.
I was like, God, it's like
2.5 hours.
I find it hard to stay awake for 2.5 hours, let alone talk for 2.5
hours. Yeah, I know, exactly. But that's what I was saying, like, it does go so fast.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, like, how quickly you can get, like, through, like, stuff, you know. I feel there's 5 podcasts worth of material here.
There we go, yeah. You know, we have a little mini-series.
There's so much stuff about drum tech and stuff we need to share.
Yeah, if you can release it, because it's still going, isn't it?
It is still, yeah, I think, you know.
Maybe.
But with something like this, I mean, you know, no one's going to listen to it anyway, but we've not said anything that...
This could be your breakthrough. Drum tech sues Mike Vaughan.
Yeah, exactly. Please sue me, please. Francis Sirio. Yeah. Francis touched me.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. Actually, he did.
Did he?
Yeah. So I was, I think, 1920, I think, when I first went there. Okay. And as I said, I was much shyer. And I'll never forget, like, he just said to me, okay, like, play the drums for me. And I started playing. And as I started playing, like, he sort of like knelt down next to me, like, and just started like doing this on my leg.
Right.
Okay. And I was thinking to myself, this is one of the weirdest experiences of my life. This, you know, really sort of tanned French fella, you know, just, you know, at my side feeling my legs. And then he started going like this on my stomach. And I was thinking, okay. And then I kid you not, like, he turned to me. He said, "You seem very tense."
You seem a bit uncomfortable.
And I felt like saying, no shit. I am tense, actually. Yeah, but you know, he was just feeling for tension. But had he have warned me first, you know...
Well, when he asked permission, it would have been nice.
Yeah, so I would never do that to, like, students. Like, can you imagine now, like, doing that to a student?
I'd be turfed out pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah. It was like... Yeah, so if you ever see him, run. Brilliant. Have you got anything else you want to say? Like, do you want to like add any like web links or?
Well, my website is aidanhampson.co.uk. Like I said, the store is down, but hopefully it'll be back up soon. It's not in my control, but hopefully.
He's an awesome bass player. He's an awesome human being.
Well, thank you very much for having me on.
Well,
you're an awesome podcaster. If that's the verb.
Well, I mean,
podcast.
So I mean, I pressed R and I spoke a load of twaddle.
There we go. That's all it takes.
You know, that's all you need.
You're particularly talented at
it. If there's a skill to have, it's that. I was going to say as well, like, we should definitely play together again.
Yeah, we did it once to the Heads, didn't we? And that was loads of fun. Awesome. You turned up with your wardrobe of tricks.
Yeah. Wardrobe.
Was it a cabinet?
My wardrobe of tricks. It's been, I did call it like the cabinet of death, but wardrobe of tricks is much better. I remember a kid at Noses once said to me, he goes, "You're so far in the closet, sir. You're in Narnia." But I've got this gig coming up with Sean McGowan. Like if you want to like play for. It's
I
I
used to teach Sean a long time ago.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, he's great. I love Sean.
Yeah, so it's April the 28th.
I'm kind of on tour.
Oh, you bastard!
With my Paramore Les tribute band.
You've got your own life.
Yeah.
How dare you?
But if it's on one of the, what day is it? Is it a midweek or
It's
is it a
Friday.
weekend?
It's Friday.
That might work.
Well, obviously, don't ruin the tour for it. Yeah.
No, well, if it's on the day that I'm in Southampton, then I would love to.
Okay, mate. It's at the railway.
Thank you very much. Oh yeah, I haven't played there for years.
Yeah, so
cool.
it's April the 28th. I'll have to clear it with Jim. Like
Was he your bass player?
No. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's really jealous. It's like a jealous lover. No, he's. You must know Jim. He was in Scarlet Soho.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's through him I've got the gig.
Yeah.
But when I did the Ainsley one, I think he kind of wanted me to keep it really simple.
Right.
Which is why I had people camped out in the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a kind of a subversive.
Yeah, so maybe you could just sort of like jump down from the audience, push someone out of the way, and just start, kind of basing and thrusting like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll work you in somehow.
Okay. All right. I'm definitely up for that.
Brilliant stuff. Okay. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here, Aidan. That was awesome. It was a lot of fun. It did feel odd at first. I don't know about you, but having the headphones on it was almost like disconnected.
Is it because it's in
at
mono
first.
and your voice is just there and then?
Yeah, but it was also, I don't know, like it was weird at first, like having the headphones on. But I think we kind of hit our stride. Yes. I think, yeah.
Yeah,
brilliant.
at about 2.5 hour mark.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so now the good stuff's coming, and we're gonna go. So thanks for listening. Okay then, bye.
Oh, sorry.
Bye. Bye. You press stop. No, you press stop.